The year is 1721. The governor of Martinique is aboard his man-of-war when a French merchant ship pulls alongside with news of a pirate captain in the area who has sworn to kill the governor. Before the pirate's location can be learned, the man-of-war found its deck raked with cannon fire. Before the crew could respond, there was grappling hooks pulling their ship towards the French merchantmen, and pirates began pouring onto their decks. As the crew surrendered, the governor was hauled on deck and hung from his own yardarm, after being given time to say his final prayers. As the governor choked, this mysterious pirate captain, Black Bart Roberts, watched apathetic. Possibly born in 1682, John Roberts, later known as Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts, grew up on the sea. Hailing from South Wales, the future Captain Roberts was noted as a tall, black-haired man who always wore a gold chain with a large cross. This exemplifies the duality of his nature, a good Christian man, while also a bloodthirsty pirate. He was a teetotaler, not drinking any alcohol, and would hold religious services aboard his pirate ship. How did a man like this, so contrary to everything we think we know of pirates, become the most successful pirate in the Caribbean? In 1719, John Roberts was working as a navigator aboard the British slave ship the Princess. Off the coast of Guinea, in Africa, they were captured by Captain Hal Davis, a notable pirate in his own right. In need of a navigator, Roberts was forced to join Captain Davis's crew and change his name to Bartholomew as his first man. Roberts' time as a regular pilot was brief, being elected pirate captain roughly 1 month after being forced into service. In this time, he had grown accustomed to the life of a pirate, having disdain for captains he had sailed under previously. Captain Davis, however, took the inexperienced Robert under his wing. There's speculation as to whether this was intentional or not. It's even suggested the only reason is that they got along is because they were both Welsh. Whatever the reason, Roberts learned tactics through stories and lessons from Captain Davis. This mostly consisted of how to win a battle with the least amount of fighting, meaning less damage to the prize. Roberts was a quick study, applying these tactics with his navigational skill once he became the captain. The ship was ambushed off Prince Island in the Gulf of Guinea in spring 1719, leaving Captain Davis and some of the other crew members dead. In the wake of this disaster, the Lords, or veteran crew members, elected a new captain, picking Roberts. This was unbelievable, voting a recent recruit, and a forced man at that, to be the captain. The famous quote attributed to him upon his promotion is that he dipped his hands in the muddy water and must be a pirate. It is better to be a commander than a common man. Whether this is true or not is up for debate, but it shows that Captain Roberts' flair for the dramatic was ever present. In fact, he was famous for wearing his bright red coat and had a large feather in his hat, even during battle. In his first attack as captain, Roberts attacked the fort at Prince Island that had killed Captain Davis. He and his crew slaughtered everyone in the fort without a single casualty. If his election didn't solidify his captaincy, this attack certainly had. Pirate codes are common knowledge today, mostly from the Pirates of the Caribbean films. However, they were a real thing. In fact, according to David Cordingly, one of the most famous pirate codes belonged to Captain Roberts. It included standard things like how loot was divided amongst the crew and the reward for losses during battle, but it also had a few other points that were distinctly Roberts. One such example is that there were no fighting aboard the vessel. Any quarrels between crew members were to be settled ashore with cutlasses and pistols. He also mandated that his crew maintain their weapons, keeping them clean and functional at all times. The most unusual rule, however, is that he gave his musicians Sunday off, the Lord's Day of Rest, of course. After avenging the death of Captain Davis, Roberts took his ship across the Atlantic towards the New World. Landing off the coast of Brazil, Roberts began pillaging and raiding every ship he could find, mostly Portuguese, and including warships. This was almost unheard of among pirates, usually choosing softer targets like unarmed or weak merchant ships. After this, they sailed up the east coast of the American colonies. After selling his plundered ships, they attacked the city of Newfoundland and burned every ship in the harbor except for one. This French 26-gun warship was renamed the Royal Fortune and became Captain Roberts' first flagship. After that, Captain Roberts sailed his feet south towards the Caribbean. In 1720, Black Bart Roberts terrorized the West Indies, raiding 15 ships including a 42-gun Dutch warship. Captain Roberts attempted to sail for Africa, whether to avoid the Navy's prevalent appearance in the Caribbean, to sell his stolen goods, or simply to find new targets. However, they were met with unfavorable weather conditions and were forced to stay in the Caribbean. This led to one of the most dramatic attacks in the golden age of piracy. Due to his ferocious attacks and raids in the Caribbean, the royal governors of both Martinique and Barbados put a bounty on Captain Roberts' head. Unsurprisingly, Captain Roberts took this as a personal offense. In April 1721, he attacked the governor of Martinique's personal 32-gun man-of-war. Flying a French flag, Captain Roberts pretended to be a merchant ship with news of Black Bart's whereabouts. Once alongside, a broadside was fired and the man-of-war was swiftly captured. Once the governor was captured, Captain Roberts gave him some time to say his prayers and then hung him from his own yardarm while the crew watched. In February 1722, the Royal Fortune was anchored off Cape Lopez. Captain Roberts walks on deck to find his crew drunk. The ship they had taken the previous day, the Neptune, was a merchant ship filled with alcohol. Looking to the horizon, he sees a ship, later identified by a fellow crew member as the Swallow, a British warship commanded by Captain Chandler Ogle. Captain Ogles was sent by the British to capture Roberts, chasing him from the Caribbean all the way to Africa. Knowing a battle was hopeless, Bartholomew Roberts sat astride a cannon, screaming at the British until he was killed by a round of grape shot. Following his wishes, the crew buries him at sea to prevent his body being used by the government as an example. A short life and a merry one, Roberts' slogan, for 3 years, was lived up to. So what makes Captain Roberts so interesting today, usually being overshadowed by pirates such as Blackbeard or Anne Bonny? Perhaps it was his success, taking roughly 400 ships to Blackbeard's 23. Perhaps it was his dual nature, a seemingly incompatible being. In a world of drunken pirates, Bartholomew Roberts was a teetotaler. In a world of devil flags and demonic appearances, he would hold church services on his pirate ship. A God-fearing Christian man, a religion preaching humility and modesty, wore a golden cross and a bright red jacket. The Sixth Commandment said, "Thou shalt not kill," yet Roberts slaughtered all those opposed him. He even once took a slave ship with 80 slaves aboard. He burned the ship without freeing them from their shackles, deeming it a waste of time. Yet he sailed with 46 Creole black men on his crew. At the same time, his code specified that if any man tried to meddle with a captured woman without their consent, they'd be executed. Both a cold and calculating pirate, he had no moral qualm with murder or theft, yet held services denouncing the evils of these acts. Captain Roberts will not only be remembered for his incredible success as a pirate, but also for his seemingly impossible contrast as a man. Good. We don't know why that happened. In 1719, John Roberts was working as a navigator on the British slave ship, the Princess. Off the coast of Guinea, they were captured by Captain Powell Davis. Stop, shit. So what makes Captain Roberts so interesting today? Unusually being son of a bitch. Pirate codes are common knowledge today, mostly from the Pirates of the Caribbean films. However, they were a real thing. Pirate codes are common knowledge today, mostly from the Pirates of the Caribbean films. However, they were a real thing. In fact, one of the most famous pirate codes belonged to Captain Roberts. Dave and Cordingly goes ad length, but we're just going to